forgotten how to do this. I'm already recording.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Real talk alert.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to Season 3, Episode 1 of Wheel Talk, the podcast all about EUCs, the community, and E-RIDERZ. It has been quite a long time since our last episode.
Like 4 months.
4 months. We have been... Sorry about that. We've been a little bit distracted. We've been a little bit busy. There's been lots of things happening behind the scenes. And we haven't wanted to do a half-baked one with not too much information. Today is the day. We've got a little bit of stuff to talk about. A few things to share with you in the community. Obviously talk about the new wheels that have been announced from our last one. We won't go too far back because you guys are normally all over it. And then we'll talk about some stock and some sales and some pre-order specials we're doing. As always, I'm joined by Steve, the owner of E-RIDERZ. And I think we've forgotten how to do this, so we're a bit rusty.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, so...
And there's been a lot of models that have come out since our last episode.
Yeah, a lot of wheels.
Too many?
Yeah, too many.
Probably. We could touch on that.
Yeah, we haven't even had time to go out and ride.
Yeah.
And it's not that we've been busy selling wheels. We've just been busy. I feel like we've been putting out fires and dealing with customer queries and dealing with late shipments and containers getting stuck in cyclones.
Yeah, definitely a lot of logistical challenges.
Yeah, so that's been keeping us busy. So apologise, we haven't done a wheel talk for a while. Apologies, we haven't had any spotlight videos. We are getting back into it as of not next week, but the week after. We're going to start filming some more content. And it leads nicely into the first point on today's agenda or show, and that's around Nosfet, their Apex and their Aero. I keep still calling it the Atom. So we've had the Apex in the shop now since Christmas. It came in right on Christmas, right as we were breaking.
Yeah, it was already pretty slow getting to us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, again, those delays we just spoke about and all those sort of thing.
Very nice wheel.
Very nice wheel. So we got it in.
Quite refined.
Yeah. Everybody who comes.
Nicely.
Yeah. Everyone who comes in and rides it loves it. They talk about how nice it feels, how light it feels, how well it handles. I can't get over how smooth the suspension is. I almost don't ride it because then when I hop on other wheels, it makes those other wheels feel terrible. Like it's hard to compare it to another wheel as far as the ride comfort. Now, if you're doing extreme jumping or off-roading, I haven't done that. I'm not a jumper. But
we did film footage.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I've still got all that. Yeah.
And Lucas, and they hit the track with a BMX track with the Blitz and the Apex. Both performed very nicely.
The Apex was definitely quieter when it landed.
Yeah, but the Blitz, I guess, is a little lighter and also had...
It's his wheel.
Since it was his
pad
Blitz
setup.
wheel, he was quite comfortable with it.
Yep.
And was probably able to commit to the jumps a little bit harder. But we've got some footage here. Hopefully, we can pop some in.
Put some over the top. Yeah. That was a fun little
But yeah,
session.
we have been testing these wheels, and
yep.
I think the trouble is that timing of new wheels coming out. There's now quite a selection of different wheels to choose from in that category. And we almost forget about all the traditional wheels that are, practical and functional for other purposes that aren't, $5,000 and $6,000 wheels. So yeah, we've had to do a little bit of, I think, reflecting on where the community needs us to drive, content for EUCs, and also how to continue to make the unicycles practical and accessible, the entry-level models for new people coming into the community.
100%.
Because you get to this point where, we've been supplying EUC now for a number of years. People start out with their entry-level wheels to learn on. They get their mid-level wheels, which are, useful commuters, useful for weekend leisure rides, and then they've evolved into the higher voltage systems with higher end suspension, and as a result of that, everyone sort of upgrades over a period of time, and then there's not as not as many wheels.
Yeah, it's like a 3-stage life cycle, right? You either get a beginner wheel, and that's you get it, you try to learn it, you kind of like it, you don't go any further. You do what you said, you get the beginner wheel, you go up to the next wheel, like the 16X, the 18XL, and you're happy with that, you stick with that, that's your commuter for an STO. But then the third stage is those people who want to go to the next stage where they do want to get a high voltage wheel, a jumping wheel.
Because they are amazing.
Yeah, they are. That's right. But we are seeing a big reduction in that third phase. Saturation.
People already having upgraded, and the differences between these higher end models now, the gap between them every time a new generation wheel comes out, the gap is not as big anymore.
Yeah, it's not
There's
like
little differences where you can have preferences based on one thing or another, a brand over another brand, but ultimately there's a lot more overlap now.
Yep. And you think back to when we launched the Kingsong S20, or now S22. You know,
S22 Pro, S22 Pro Plus.
Yeah, but you think, well, but think about what came before that. You know, people were on like the S18s, the V11s, and it was a big jump up in performance, big jump up in technology and so on.
At that time, it was.
And now, and like you said, we're at a saturation, and the improvements are so minute that people aren't jumping on that performance wheel. They're going, oh, I'll just wait.
I've got something that's pretty similar.
So close.
Is it worth trying to sell it at a aftermarket price and then reinvest into a new wheel just to get those, improvements?
Yeah. So we have to be really careful what we carry, and you can see all our stock behind us. You know, we carry a lot of stock on hand, but if it doesn't sell, if it doesn't move, we can only discount it so far before we need to start getting into a bit of a, not trouble, but a point where it's like, well, this doesn't make sense to carry this model in the future.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about this later in the podcast, but we're actually going to ask, for your input. You can right now, if you've got a list of give us your top 10 wheels you think every dealer should carry, chuck it down in the comments.
And don't just think about what you like now, but think about what the community going through that life cycle and going through that learning phase.
Yeah.
We kind of need the best in class models. Now there's over 30 different models of EUC, and each of those models has anywhere from, 10 key parts through to 60 or 100 in some instances. But as we get along and models get replaced and they overlap, we definitely, in order to be able to provide the support, we need to get some best-in-class models that we get behind, maybe 10 units, 10 different styles of electric unicycle, and that's part of what we need to change in the way we sort of support the community and grow the community of riders in the future. And then the high-performance sort of models that are very driven by, they've got so many options. What type of suspension do you want? Like there's sometimes 3 or 4 options. What type of tire do you want with that particular model? There's 2 or 3 options. Like they're getting to the point where people are wanting something very specific for their needs. And as a result of that, we can't just buy in and stock one version of those models. We actually need to buy them in for riders at their request. So it's changed so much.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're having to change and adjust too. In order to be able to keep up.
100%. And I think, I don't know if you want me to say this or not, but I think we're very, very thankful that we've gone to the bike business.
Yeah.
Because it's changed that much that without the bikes, it wouldn't make sense to keep the lights on at the moment. That's how much the landscape has changed
the volumes of different types of wheels has changed substantially.
Exactly.
And like you said, we continue to sort of grow our team and our capabilities and tried to always, I guess, offer as much as we can to make these wheels like functional vehicles for people.
Next point, Nosfet Atom.
Aero.
I wrote Atom.
You said at the start that you were getting it wrong. Aero.
E-R-O. Nosfet Aero.
It's aesthetically, it's a really cool wheel.
Yeah.
It's got amazing styling.
Yeah.
It's quite high spec for a smaller wheel.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if it's too. I wonder if it's too high spec, because the higher the spec, the higher the cost, and I feel like it's going to be in direct competition with like the Falcon. right? As far as what you'd use it for, it's a small, lightweight jumping wheel, but it's got that big battery. It's got the big cell. It's good cells.
It's got very good specifications, but with those specifications comes a higher price point. And some people are going to love it. At that price point, you know, are happy to compromise on maybe size or overall speed. But as a wheel, if you're a rider that likes to, I guess that it will definitely still appeal to some people. But for Australian dollars, we're looking at, you know, like just over $3,500.
Yeah. I mean, I still want one.
A decent chunk for a smaller wheel.
Yeah.
But also, it's you know, it's a nice wheel.
Well, that's the thing, right? And
70mm suspension, and all those sorts of things.
And taking what we know about the Apex, we know it's going to be a beautiful wheel. Like, we know it's going to ride well. We know it's going to be well finished. You know, and they've learned so much from their soft launch of the Apex, as far as, you know, having to go through the multiple ideations of the suspension linkage and so on,
changing material types, optimizing for lower maintenance, easier to disassemble to be able to do tire changes.
So Apex and Aero are both on our website for pre-sale. We do have an Apex in the store. If you're in Brisbane, if you're passing through and you want a test ride, if you're thinking about it, come and have a test ride.
Everybody that jumps on it goes, "Oh."
And it's so easy to adjust that suspension. It's insane how quickly you can raise and lower those that pedal height. Right, so come into the store, test ride it. You'll be very impressed. Inmotion V9, next one on the list. So this is one that's it's probably the worst kept secret, I think, in the industry over the last 3, 4, 5 months.
Changed names too.
It's changed names. We've seen silhouettes of it. We've seen different things of it.
It started out in the earlier phases. Horrible. I was like, oh my god.
We were like, what are they doing? It's
ugly.
Like 90s steampunk.
It was terrible.
No. What we're getting,
but the refined product is impressive.
And that's taken into mind. Yeah, and that's taken into account what we've just spoken about around where a wheel fits into the community, right? We see this V9 really filling a gap from someone might come in and buy an E20 or a 14D. That can be their next upgrade. It's not the most powerful wheel. It's not the biggest battery, but it's going to be comfortable.
It's still an upgrade from a wheel like a V8 or a 16S or those sorts of models. But I think it's not high performance, but it's high function in that it's very adapted to a commuting wheel.
Yeah.
It's got
60 mil suspension,
even though it's not a huge
60 or 50.
Travel. It's like, but its functionality is optimized to be very convenient and very, functional for the purpose of commuting and also just for some casual recreational rides.
Yep. Side lights, speakers. You can link all the speakers.
Yeah. And the app has things like geolocation and
basically a built-in AirTag. You can follow it and find it.
And deactivating, and its functions are very nice.
The biggest thing we were excited about, when we saw the spec list come over our desk, and we both got super excited about, and this is a bit nerdy, was the UL certification.
Yes, and
first EUC in the world to have UL certification, system UL certification.
And some people might initially at this time go, "Oh, who cares?"
Who cares?
But we do care because, and we know that you will care further in the future as time goes by, because...
Can that be our new tagline? We do care.
We do care.
We do care.
We do care, Inmotion. Thank you. What we're seeing is, and there's a change in legislation coming, and it's already started in New South Wales. New South Wales is demanding UL certification for lithium battery operated mobility devices, bikes, scooters, e-skate, etc., EUCs. So right now it's not as well known throughout the riding community, but as time goes by there will be an increasing demand for the wheels to be certified. We're getting to the point where performance doesn't need to increase so much. We're already at crazy capabilities of the wheels for off-roading, for high speed, for large capacity. We've got those functions now. What we need now is smarter BMSs, safer charging and battery management.
Yep.
And that, I think, is where Inmotion is clued in and heading in the right direction.
We've committed to a pretty big order, so we've got our buy price
we
down.
want to get behind
certain
bringing
wheels.
really relevant wheels to new riders in the community.
Exactly. So we're doing it for $19.99.
Yep.
At the moment, we're not sure how long we can do it for at that price, but for the time being, $1,999.
Yep.
Plus, I think it's $50 delivery or $60 delivery anywhere in Australia. So
sure.
They're on pre-sale right now. We have, is it 10 or 15 on the water?
This particular delivery is 20 units.
20 units. So we've got 20 units on the water. We've already pre-sold almost half of that. So there's 12, 11 left, I think. So if you are thinking about one, if you've got any questions, give us a call. Speak to me, speak to Steve, speak to Amy. But yeah, they won't last, but we do have lots more coming. So there'll be constant shipments coming to the V9. V9 will become...
We predict that it's going to be a solid model that will become staple in the range.
Exactly.
It has to be one of the 10 that I talked about as
100%.
sort of best in class and needed to be stocked at all times and well supported with all the relevant parts.
Yep.
Because it's one we can confidently suggest to new riders as a serious option for them to consider.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. And while we also know that out there, we've tried to get behind the E20 as well. We know that purists don't agree that it's an electric unicycle. We're not pushing it because we think it's a sexy wheel. We just think that it is a fun little useful tool for getting people over that barrier. There's a reason that there's such a small community compared to e-bike riders and scooter riders and so forth. And this is one of the things that gets people over that hurdle.
So we use the E20 in every Learn to Ride now, and since we've started using it,
notice the improvement in speed.
Well, it's gone from being a 2-hour lesson where they can sometimes go in a wobbly straight line to within 1 hour, they're going out the shed, around the car park and coming back.
Yeah.
Because they're spending the first 10 minutes just learning how to go and stop, and then we get them straight onto like the 14 or the 16S or the 18 XL. So it's a legitimate training tool.
It works.
It really is.
It does. And
right. Let's keep going. Next wheel. We don't want to go. We could talk about E20s
We've got a lot
all day.
to talk about.
I know.
But yeah. Sure.
Next wheel, and I'll let you talk about this one because I don't know too much, but we've seen the early footage of the F18, codename Zebra. So the Kingsong, what is it? It's it's a mix between the S18 and the S22, but it's much, much higher voltage.
Yes, they're talking like 220 volts.
220 volt system, which is crazy.
The footage looks like a reskinned, tweaked kind of S22 Pro.
And
it's got great, like the suspension and everything. I think they've gone from the F22 Future, the model that has 4 stanchion suspensions. This has gone to 2, but it looks impressive for tracks with jumps and everything.
Yep.
But it does. I'm not a big fan of the aesthetic with the zebra camouflage.
And that's the thing, right? The test footage looked like they had wrapped it like they do with the pre-release cars, right? When they're trying to hide the curves and stuff. But you said that black and white
they actually gave it the nickname Zebra because of
it's going to be black and white.
Is going to be one of the options. I don't know if it's the only option or not.
I hope not.
I find that. Yeah, it's not to my styling.
Yeah, I mean, you can wrap it, vinyl wrap it, paint it.
What they did with the F22, that looks amazing.
That was another wheel that improved drastically from its early renders.
And it did. And it needed to, I guess. But the thing is, the F22 Pro, it never even got released as an F22.
No.
It had to undergo changes before it could be released.
That's what we talked at the very beginning. That was another logistical nightmare. We had our F22s.
That's it. We put them up to start taking pre-orders, and unfortunately, because of the changes that they implemented, they knocked back their production and fulfillment of our orders by weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's not their fault, but it's that customers, because we first put it up there as an F22, they started to get, we talked to them about it, we took some pre-orders, and then unfortunately, those changes and the holding back of the stock until they upgraded, A few people, I guess the hype around it and the interest and the talking about it dropped off.
Oh,
there was just a big gap of no.
We forgot about it.
Didn't hear about it at all.
There was a big spider on the floor. Big huntsman.
So
we just went dead, right? It was like, oh yeah, that's right. There's a new wheel coming, but they launched it too early.
Normally do a really big launch, but as we were talking about before, the market is changing.
Yeah,
there's new wheels being released by Begode, like every couple of weeks.
Yeah, and that's our next topic, so we can move straight into that actually. Yeah, so, sure. Raft of new wheels for Begode, like you were just going to say. Yeah. I can't keep up with it. Like, I legitimately cannot keep up with it. We have a joke here, like, we joke in the shop now, whenever we get, like, a new shipment of, let's say, T4s, and we're like, oh, well, the T4s have shipped, the T4 Pro will probably get announced tomorrow. And it actually happens. Like, the amount of new wheels
at a Pro or an Extreme on
a Pro or Extreme or a Pro Plus or a... And now we've got all these little wheels coming out. We've got, like, what have we got now? As far as we've got the small, we've got the M10 Mini, and then we've got the M10 5, and then there's the Future, then there's that.
Future is a 14-inch mini kind of.
Then there's an A5, A2, A5.
And there might be an A1 coming.
Maybe an A1 coming,
I think.
And then you get into and then there's the T4s, and then there's the
And the challenge for us is that we just start to get some interest in a particular model, and then all of a sudden it's moved to the Max. For example, with the T4 Pro. It moves to a Max, and then all of a sudden we still keep taking some orders here and there occasionally, and then all of a sudden, because we've moved on to doing the Max now, we don't have stock of the Pro.
So we had that customer recently who bought the T4 Pro, and
we ended up having to upgrade them to the Max.
Exactly. So again, we go out of pocket by like $400 because they've changed their mind.
That was the best thing to do. Was to sort of upgrade them because the stock wasn't being fulfilled. They didn't have enough demand for it after the Extreme was released.
All right, so we've spoken about the Nosfet, Inmotion, Kingsong F18, Begode having way too many wheels. Don't forget, comment below, what do you think the core top 10 wheels we should keep in stock? Like, always have them on hand. Comment that down below. Because we've got our top 10. We'd love to compare it to the community and what they think, because it might be very, very different. Next thing I want to talk about is the community and what's going on. Again, there's been lots of things happening. I don't know if you heard that horn. That's the lunch lady across the road. So the first thing I want to talk about is we've got a really exciting new racing league launching here in Australia. It's launched. It's up and running. It's PEV, yeah. So it's run by a couple of guys, and they are racers, which is really cool. They're getting a lot of interest, a lot of participation. I'll link their Facebook and Instagram below.
They are now EUC riders as well.
And they are now EUC riders as well. So, and the nice,
not just run by
Skate
members, but someone who has gotten on board with EUC riding as well.
Exactly right. So
that's pretty cool.
They are doing a lot of stuff in the community. They're constantly looking for places to race, like proper legit tracks. They've got some really like world-class indoor tracks they now have access to in Perth, WA. They've just they've just been given the approval to apply to hold an event here in Queensland. I know they're looking around August for that one. And it's just, I think what's caught my eye is because it's not getting run as a business.
It's for the riders.
It's for the riders, exactly. They are doing this.
So we want everyone to really get behind them, because they're not doing it to their own gain.
Yeah, they're not doing it I always say they're not doing it to buy a boat. They're not trying to make a whole heap of profit. They're trying to, everything they're making, they're putting back into the business.
Yeah, and so this brings new opportunities for our riders to, enjoy this sort of area of, riding.
Yeah, but check out their social media, because I think you'll agree they've really captured the essence. When you look at their photos and the people who are there and the races, there's just something really cool about it. Like, everyone's smiling, everyone's having a great time. The races look legitimate. They're all being properly GPS timed. Cool. Yeah, Oz PEV. As I said, I'll put the link below. Hopefully they will have an event here in August.
I'm sure they'll get some amazing attendance.
Oh yeah, and we'll be there. E-RIDERZ
and others
E-RIDERZ
that are willing to.
E-RIDERZ will be there with a tent, and we'll definitely be there to support and have some demos and have some wheels to try. I haven't told you that, but we'll be there, and I will hopefully be racing as well on an electric skateboard.
Ooh, okay.
I've got some race boards now. I need to race them. Like next thing, learn to ride. So something we've always done, but we've always sort of done it in a particular way, is learn to ride. You know, if you're an EUC rider, you know there's that barrier.
There's the hurdle initially.
It's so daunting to get a wheel and go, right, how do I do this? And you go onto YouTube and there's 17 different ways to do it.
Learning to do it yourself is definitely a bit more challenging.
Yeah. We've perfected our sort of style. We know the tricks that work. We know the sort of tips to give.
Got the right tools.
Got the right tools, exactly. E20, B14D, all that sort of thing. But what we've always done is we traditionally tried to do it on a Saturday morning when the shop wasn't open, so we weren't distracted because we were so low on staff, right? It was normally just Steve and I, and a tech sometimes. But what we're doing now is, because we've got a bigger team, we've got a tech on the tools, we've got a tech who looks after the customer service side of things, we've got a marketing girl, and Steve and I. We're now going to be basically open for Learn to Rides every Thursday. So anytime after 1 p.m.
every week.
So don't need to book. I mean, if you want to let us know you're coming.
Makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if we've only got one person coming along. Or in fact, it doesn't matter if 1 week we don't have anybody come.
No, that's the thing. We're not going to be sitting there waiting for you, but there'll be people here to do it.
We've got the resources put aside to make it work for a Thursday.
Exactly. Afternoon. Yep. So Thursday, anytime between 1 and 3, come on in.
We would love to do the weekends, but we're already putting in so much time that it's a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, weekends, I think once the EUCs, like we talk about peaks and troughs, right, and sales and community, we're currently in a trough for EUC sales and interest, because like you said, there's saturation with all those
and the new models coming out are kind of,
once it starts climbing up again, it makes sense for us to be here on a Saturday, at least have one person here on a Saturday. So there's, I think in the near future, like hopefully, don't hold me to this. I said it once before and somebody...
We have said it before.
Hopefully
it hasn't quite worked out.
It hasn't
been enough demand.
Hasn't been enough demand.
People were asking us. We were gauging the need for it based on calls we would take for, can I come along and learn to ride?
Yeah.
Now we just say yes, Thursday afternoons, and sometimes we'll be flexible outside of that time, but we've put aside time and we've got the right staffing, the resources on that time.
So Thursday, Learn to Ride, come on in.
And over the holidays, bring your kids to, like, let us know, but bring your kids in.
You can't leave them here.
No.
This isn't a drop and go.
We don't do any mining services.
No.
But definitely, if they are keen to get involved and get riding, then they can come along, try out the E20, try out our 14D and any other like suitable model.
We've got behind the camera. We've got a really long wall now, which is great. And normally it's clear, so we can make it clear. Exactly. So Learn to Ride Thursdays. Come on in if you want to demo. If you already can ride and you want to demo any wheel, just come in when we're open. You don't need to call us. Just come on in. You can. Ken or Lucas or myself will take you for a ride down the street. Next thing, social media. So something I really want us to focus on, and it's like we don't do much of, unfortunately, because again, we just don't have time, is we're not sharing or seeing much of our customers or riders' footage.
Yeah, the community is a bit like...
Well, the community's there, right? So the community, the EUC community and the e-skate community and the e-bike, it's huge. It's pretty big. Everyone loves posting their 360 footage and their drone footage, and everyone's got the new Neo drone and everything. Anytime you post footage, can you tag us in it? Because we want to see it. We want to be able to share it. We want to be able to celebrate and show everyone who follows the E-RIDERZ, Instagram, what the guys in Australia are doing.
Potential riders that are looking to us to get an idea of whether this is something they can do, and then they can start to find through our channel those links to some of your footage, some of your group activities, whatever it might be. That really helps to give legitimacy to the community. It gives confidence to the new potential people that are considering EUCs or have seen one and just want to check them out. But yeah, just give us that little bit of extra support by including us into that, so that so that anyone that we're talking with, we can direct them through to our socials to look at.
Don't worry, nothing you tag us in, we will use against you in warranty claims. I promise. I promise.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's purely about.
I say that
trying to get more involvement.
I only say that because I know businesses in America who have done that.
Oh god.
They've literally used a social media post to do it.
Say you're not doing this, or
you rode
being
this.
rough on that.
You rode this on loose shingle. All right. Now, before I get to the stock, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I missed it when we were talking about all the other wheels, is keep an eye on your emails, because what we were saying before about all the different units and it's hard to carry every single wheel. What we are going to start doing, Amy is going to start sending out group buy emails. So if we're potentially about to order some Ep1 wheels or some Begode wheels of a particular model, we're going to basically sharpen the price as best we can and do almost like a group buy-in. So we're going, hey, we're placing an order on this Friday for Ep1. If you want links, now is the time to place the order. Use this discount code and get it at a special price with half price shipping or something. So keep an eye on that.
In those sort of circumstances, we also need to get to a point where we can ask for you to pre-order.
Yeah.
But we can't be in a situation where we just get people making pre-orders and then cancelling out because they changed their mind a couple of weeks later. We've lost out a number of times from people doing that, and we kind of have to stop being so generous, and we need to start adhering to, okay, please pre-order and do these group buys if
you really want
them. But please commit to it and don't sort of change out the order.
And we'll be as honest and as transparent as we can when it comes to the time frame.
Yeah.
So
from now on, we're trying to give accurate time frames, but occasionally.
Well, gone is the day we'll quote 4 weeks, like I said at the very beginning.
Unless
so
it's like
at the forwarder, leaving the China. So on that, K6 is about to have a group buy. What's happening right now? So K6, we will be placing our K6 order next Thursday, I think it is. The K6 Max it is, so it's got the 50 SLs, 3,500 watt hours.
Yeah,
that's the latest stock. They're making it right now, and I think we're going to do it at 5.6 plus half price shipping. So check it. Yeah, Amy will send an email out probably today or Monday, just telling you what discount code to use. The K6 it's still getting interest. Like, it's not selling like 14Ds, but it just constantly, it's a slow burner. It's constantly getting interest in that wheel. We would have one, but we got scammed. So we are all out of those, unfortunately, at the moment. So we did lose one last week. So someone paid for it and used, Logan Home used a fraudulent stolen credit card. There's nothing we can do about that. So we have more coming. It does.
Right. A bit disheartening at times, to be honest. I don't want to bring the episode down, but
we had two. We lost 10 grand last week in fraud.
We did, and it's really hurting.
Yeah.
But it happens sometimes, and we understand that is a business cost, but it's not a cost that we can always afford. Like, we just literally do not make enough to cover that sort of thing.
So if you do see a brand new K6 for sale, be wary of it. It's probably stolen goods.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know, actually. If you see
someone's in Logan Home.
Yeah, or anywhere in Queensland.
Logan.
They also bought meals on the Gold Coast on the credit card and Jetstar flights to Melbourne.
Yep.
So let's move on. Downer, let's come back up. In stock right now at the moment. So we still got our warehouse clearance sale on, and in case you're wondering why we're doing it, you can't really see around us, but we're about to have 300 bikes arrive over the next 7 days. We're going to be chockers even with our new warehouse, we're going to be full. We weren't supposed to get 300 bikes, but like I said at the beginning, one of our containers went the wrong way. So now, if you were thinking about buying a wheel, now is the best time, because if you go to our website, you'll see the warehouse clearance is on. It's on until the stock is sold out, then the prices will have to revert back to RRP. But in stock right now, we've got one V13 Pro, we've got a whole lot of V14 GVs and 50Ss, a couple of V11Ys. That's just the Toyota Camry of wheels. They're just so reliable. We've got V8Ss. We've got a couple, I think three.
Of 14Ds.
Yeah, there's 3 14Ds left. We've got 2 Begode Blitzers still there, which is good. We've got 6 A2s, and they will never be this price again. I don't think. It's $16.99. It's dirt cheap at 16. Yeah, I didn't tell you it was that cheap. And then we've got a whole heap. Oh, not a whole heap. We've got
freshly delivered in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Pattern S's.
Pattern S's. The brand new Pattern S's. We've got a couple in each suspension, I think. But the website is up to date and accurate. So just check.
That is a nice wheel.
Yeah.
If
it's
you're
very
considering
smooth.
A bit of an all-rounder off-road, sort of very smooth suspension.
Yeah. Good torque. Nice 38 kilos now. They managed to shave a couple of kilos from the original pattern. You know,
it's a pretty good wheel.
It's really nice. Yeah. So that's what we've got in stock. So yeah, go to the website, check it out. As I said, warehouse sale. Once it's gone, they will revert back up in price. If there's something you want we don't have, reach out, let us know. We can pre-order it in for you, but just allow sort of 6 to 8 weeks, worst case scenario. I think that's all I've got. K6, if you send it for sale, you know, let us know. Anything else? If you call next week.
Oh.
So I'm on holiday next week. Worst possible timing. I didn't plan it this way. I will be in Las Vegas at Eastgate Con. There will be EUC races and stuff there, so I might do some live streaming on the E-RIDERZ Instagram. I will be over in America, and poor Steve and the team have 2 40-foot containers arriving. If you call the shop next week, I can almost guarantee you we won't be answering the phone. We are here, we are open, but please don't expect to call and get someone on the first
Maybe
try.
Maybe a quick email and
put
your number in, and we'll call you back in between different things.
It's going to be all hands on deck. There's over 300 bikes. Each bike weighs like 40 to 50 kilos in the box. It's going to be a big job to get those unloaded, and it has to be unloaded the same day, unfortunately. So whenever the containers come in, we can't just leave containers of goods outside.
We also don't have enough space to get the second one.
No, we don't. So please be patient with us next week. If you call, we don't answer. Just shoot us an email. Email's on our website. Anything else?
Gosh, we've covered a fair bit.
I think we have.
Episode.
Yeah, I think we've done well. Yeah. I'm just looking around thinking what else we need to talk about. Parts, tyres, top spin tyres we still don't have, but I think we have finally found a supplier.
Oh yeah, no, we were able to get some in, but it's still a few weeks away.
Yep. All right, that's it.
Look forward to your feedback.
Hope this wasn't too rattly for you. It's been a while since we made a podcast.
Yeah.
I had to find the microphones, I had to put batteries in the microphones.
Yeah.
I hope it sounds all right.
Yeah, we have got a bunch of wheels on the way that we can make new content with. I think you will be seeing some more spotlights and wheel talk episodes coming soon.
100%.
But yeah,
that's it.
But good to be back.
Very good to be back. And I'm glad I'm not here next week unloading 2 40-foot containers.
And shipping them all out and seeing them all.
That's the worst. Oh no, we don't.
Not have to see too many of those particular boxes.
But we have to build some as well.
Yeah.
Ken, Lucas, and Steve are going to be so busy next week. All right. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, comments, questions, drop them down below. Until next time, ride safe, wear a helmet, and we'll see you on the next episode. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Phone's ringing.
Real talk alert.